So today we're talking about how to get through plat and get yourself to diamond, and whether it's for the dive trail or the badge, hopefully this video will help you. Now it will be a sort of like, well, not live commentary, but a sort of gameplay breakdown, should we say, over the top of a diamond game. And this is solo queuing, and I will delve into everything about that very shortly. But if you are new here and you do enjoy the video, please do hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And of course, if the video helps you out, hit that like button and let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate it. I love hearing from you guys, and I read every single comment I get on my videos, so it's nice to know if this helped you. Anyway, let's get to the first sort of instance of solo queuing, and that is your legend. And this is obviously before your drop choice. Now in my opinion, I would always choose a movement legend when solo queuing, and this is because you might need to play selfishly, and although ranked you really need to focus on team play, which I'm gonna get to, don't worry, I'm gonna get to it. Having a movement legend to get in and out of situations real fast if you can't depend on your team or something goes wrong is super useful, and may help you hold out to get those extra placement points that you will need. And people like Wraith, Octane, Horizon, Valkyrie, they're all great for these situations. So if you like those characters and you play solo, I would highly recommend you use them. If they don't already get taken. But even if they do get taken, you know, play someone that can get in and out of places fast, and even Bangalore's great. She's got the smokes and she's got the ult. But that's my sort of first point of talking. Just make sure you choose a legend you're comfortable with, but also has great movement, in my opinion, because it just means you can get in and out of situations quite quick should you need to, or need to get out of a bad situation, which, you know, it does happen, and sometimes you have to play selfishly, which I will talk more about. But we're going to move on to solo queuing in general, and of course I am playing with a duo queue here, so they are in a party chat together, which obviously isn't ideal, means we don't have comms. But in plat, you don't need comms as much. I'm gonna say you don't need comms as much. In diamond, you'll find more people on the mic than you do in plat, and you can sort of get by without the comms in plat if you just know what you're doing and sort of communicate through the ping system. But obviously, if you have comms, please use them. And if they're not in a party chat, just giving information to them will really help you all out, because you're relaying back how much damage you're doing, if someone's knocked, if someone's cracked, and you can all sort of push together and play together, or back out of fights, which is what I mean about playing selfishly. Now, when solo queuing, you need to sort of assess how your teammates are playing, and if your teammates are playing quite aggressively, you also need to be playing aggressively with them and all sticking together. If they're playing passively, you need to not be pushing fights on your own and play more passively. You need to play the ring and you know, sort of deal with them, especially if they're a duo queue. If they're a solo queue, you might get a mixed bag, which means being a movement legend will get you out of situations if one guy pushes, one guy doesn't, and you don't know what to do. If one guy goes down and you need to run, you can easily get out of there with a movement legend. If you're someone like, you know, Watson or Crypto, you don't really have any sort of abilities to help you get out of those situations quite quick. Obviously you have things that will stun your enemies, but to get out of there really fast and reposition, it's going to be a lot harder. So I always say take your movement legend, but you need to sort of assess your play style in the game, and particularly when solo queuing, based on your teammates. So that then leads me to the drop choice, which I probably should have covered before that. But here we've landed at Lava Siphon, and it's pretty quiet. Like, there's no one here, which is unusual. But what I would say is don't be too disheartened if you don't get someone landing at your drop. And on the other side, don't land somewhere where everyone else is landing. You don't want to be too contested. So ideally having a place where maybe one squad lands or no squad lands is going to be perfect. Now, if you're like me, your drop choice might change depending on where everyone else lands, or you might have a set drop location that you know in and out. But I just avoid those situations where you see about 5 squads dropping, 6 squad dropping, particularly to fragment if you're a fragment dropper, and you just start taking someone out and you think, oh yeah, I've got some KP, and then you get taken out. right? It's not great. So at the start of the game, try get the early game KP if there's another squad. It's going to be a 50-50, and it's all obviously going to depend on the loot. But if you can get them taken out as fast as possible, so it limits any other squad hearing and getting there and third-partying you. That's what you need to be doing if you are contested on the drop. Get someone taken out as fast as possible, and obviously it limits the chances of being third-party because most people are looting, they're not rotating around the map. If you're not contested, however, don't worry about it, and don't go searching for kills through the game. I see it done a lot. Like, obviously everyone has different playstyles, but this is obviously what works for me. I see it a lot where people will go for kills a lot in ranked, and you don't really need to, because obviously it caps at 6 anyway, so there's not much point. And the thing is with the mid-game fights is you're risking a third party, and there's going to be a lot more squads moving in. Obviously the zones are moving in and whatnot, but you're sort of risking the third party, and as soon as third parties get involved, it can end badly, or you can end up with more KP, and sometimes it's one or the other, and you just want to minimize that happening. Which if you don't get the early game KP, don't worry about it. Play position, and that's exactly what we're doing here, and pick up the end game KP. Sorry, end game KP. It will happen, and you will get end game KP. There's like no worry about it. Like I've been with people, I need to get KP, I need to get KP. It's like, no, you'll pick it up end game. Don't worry about it. Having the position points is way more important than the KP. Even if you only get like 2 or 3 KP by the end of the game, it's still enough to keep you going, especially if you get the win. Like, the placement is way more valuable. Which then leads me to what we're doing here. Now, because we didn't get the early game KP, and these guys were playing a bit more passive, we ended up doing the beacon scans and sort of going for endgame, and getting to endgame as fast as possible. There is a problem with this, however. And that is what you'll see, and you have to fend off a lot of teams who are also wanting that in-game position. Now, if you're comfortable doing that, absolutely do that, but normally I would rotate in on the 3rd or 4th ring and try get some sort of good positioning then, and sometimes it can be too late and you might have to contest for that, but you just need to get it done, and you've just got to deal with it. Now, how we're dealing with this fight, I've seen my team sort of take the left, which is why I've started flanking round. Sorry, I accidentally exited off this, but I've seen my teammates coming round, so I've decided to flank that and go the opposite direction to try get an angle. Jibby blocks the door. I don't know how he gets back here so fast. He must have moved before, like, he must have run off and I just didn't notice it. But anyway, he ended up bubbling, which actually left them in a more difficult situation, because he just had 3 of us all with a wall to take down 2 of them, because I think Jimmy knocked one of them originally. And it was a pretty easy cleanup. Now, the only problem we've got now is obviously holding down this till the end game, which we can do, and isn't a problem. At least we don't have to be gate-kept. And that's the important thing, like assessing the ring and assessing your placement and positioning is very, very important, and you need to, like, if we were not close to this end ring because we landed lava, if we were not close, I would have probably played it slower, but because we were so close, it made sort of sense. And the weapons I've got here to deal with this is the G7 and the Vault. Now, the G7 I would say is very meta and ranked at the minute. There's a lot of people using it, and even the longbow as well. It just deals with those mid to long range fights, and as soon as you knock one person, it makes the whole fight easier. Dealing with a 2v3, much easier than a 3v3. Now, we end up seeing this other squad coming in who just start crafting. I don't think they actually knew we were there, because I don't know why you'd start crafting just after a fight, but they're all sort of spaced out, which is great for us, because as soon as the enemy squad is spaced out, you can sort of focus on one person each, and there's less likelihood of you just getting beamed down by 3 of them all at once. And I think that's the thing with plat mainly, like, a lot of teams obviously don't play together, and that's like the biggest thing, like, as I mentioned earlier, assessing how your team are playing. But I go in for the push because Wraith's solo, I do almost lose it, but luckily, you know, the G7 helped me out there. And I just want to get a quick bat before going for any more kills. Jibby deals with 1, and then I think there's 1 left. and that, and it sort of all gets cleaned up and sorted out. But this is what I mean. Like, I know this is a mid-game fight, but because we already have the position, like, we're just picking up KP now pretty easy, and it just means because we didn't get it at the start, we get it here. But I know I said about mid-game fights, but this is like quite at the edge of the map. There's little risk of people actually sort of coming towards us because of how big the circle still is. So we can sort of deal with these fights and not worry too much. Now, I'm just going to skip ahead. I end up swapping my G7 here because I want something a bit more close range for the endgame. And as you'll see, the sort of problem we have now is contesting this ring with other squads, all of course wanting this ring. But this means we don't have to worry about getting caught off guard while rotating around the map. And also it means we can't be gatekept ourselves. So we're just sort of holding this down, and as we're doing that, you know, squads are dying, and it's giving us better placement. Now, obviously, there's a few squads moving in, and we sort of move to get the best position we can where we think the ring's going to end. And the important thing is, yes, we're trading shots, but we want to not peek too much that we have no heals or ammo left, but also just keep an eye on where everyone is. Now, I know it says a squad behind us and a squad in front of us, so it's just making, like, because we're in the middle, it's just making sure we don't get sandwiched. So if we can take out one squad, great. But if not, we just sort of need to keep an eye on both directions. Now, I do make a bad push here. I thought it was just the one guy, but then I get up to the wall and actually hear more people. And as I peek this corner, because my teammates are doing it, I don't want to leave them. As I peek this corner, it's like, yeah, actually, maybe we should avoid that. So we go back and take position again. And we can just hold this down. You know, it's pretty secure. It's a pretty nice area. That's exactly what we do. The idea is that we've already got our KP. We just need the other squads to end up killing each other and getting that placement. We don't need to worry. And that's I guess the benefit of having the end game sooner, but also there's more to fend off. So I'm just going to skip ahead, and again, it's just like keeping an eye on all these squads. The ring's going to start pushing them in, and it's just trying to hold them back with a couple shots here and there to make sure they don't get too close, and make sure, obviously, we don't get taken out. Because as soon as one of us gets taken out, it could be the end for all of us. So, of course, we're trading shots, but there's boxes here with ammo in and whatnot. And all I'm doing pretty much is just taking it easy. We have the ring, we have the KP, and all we've got to do is just wait and defend. And ranked is you've got to be patient. You've got to be patient. Like, the games are slower, and having position is like super like valuable over anything. Like, everyone thinks in a gunfight as well that your aim is more important, but obviously your aim plays a part, but like your positioning, and if you have the high ground on someone, or if they're having to, you know, be pushed in by the circle and all that, like it makes a huge difference in that you already have the upper hand. So this Loba starts pushing, and the Jibby bubbles, I was going to back out because I didn't know if my team was coming with, but they end up coming in, and this Jibby bubble again actually gives us cover as well. Like, Jibby's obviously thinking it's going to give him cover, but it's actually giving us cover as well. And we just managed to clean up that squad and again get another 2 KP. And this is what I mean, like I said earlier, don't worry about getting that start KP. You will pick it up at the end. You know, if you're playing position, you will pick it up at the end. You'll have squads pushing you. You'll be contesting for the end game, and you'll just have some easy KP. So in the time that we've dealt with this fight, there's actually a squad taking our position, which isn't ideal, but we have Sia, we have Jibby, and this guy wants to fight on his own, so we managed to knock him, and then there's just a path, and he gets dealt with, and then there's actually some people fighting outside, but the ring means they can't really get round. It's a pretty strong ring. We're on ring 6, so this is the final ring. And again, it's just holding it down. And like I say, we're just picking up KP that we don't even need now, because we're just holding down the area that we need, and we're just holding down the final ring. And just sort of taking it slower, not pushing everyone, not needing to push everyone, he says, as he goes and pushes. I didn't need to. I felt confident, okay? I felt confident with this. I didn't need to. But I'm Wraith. I can get out of there pretty easy. And Seer comes in and cleans up for me after dealing with a bit of damage there. I probably shouldn't have solo pushed. That was a mistake on my part. But that's the hard thing of not being on comms as well. And now we're down to 3 squads. So the thing with 3 squads is I'm not sure if the guy behind the wall here is a solo. Or whether there's a full squad. And ideally in a 3 squad situation at endgame, you want the other 2 squads to start fighting before you get involved. Because if you are the first 2 squads to get involved in the fight, obviously if you clean one up, if you clean one of them squads up, the other squad can just come out of nowhere while you're low on health and just take care of you. And then that's not what you want. But if the other 2 start fighting and you're the third party to the fight, you're obviously in a better situation, and hoping by that point they're all pretty low. So I hear someone on the right, and again, I probably shouldn't have pushed. It was a 1v1, and my aim just wasn't there. Like my aim just wasn't there. But Jibby saves me. I have the golden res. Luckily it was only one other guy. But do you see what I mean? As soon as we started fighting, this other guy like pops out of nowhere because he knows he's got at least second, but he's thinking, oh, they might be weak and I might get a cheeky kill here. And if you can at the end game, try and obviously wait to be the team that takes a fight last, rather than pushing in and trying to get everyone dealt with, because you'll probably just get thirded. Anyway, I know this has kind of been a bit of a rambling. I'm not sure if it's been massively helpful. I hope it has, but I hope there's been some sort of value from it. I know it's been a bit weird and a bit all over the place, a bit sporadic, is that the word? But I'm going to leave it there anyway. If you were unsure and you want to know anything more, please do leave a comment. And there's also other videos on my rank tips as well, which you can check out on my channel. But for now, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.